Now, if you're wondering, why does he have to use them in his dragon form? And why he can't use them in his faunus form? Well, the thing is, if he uses that ability in his faunus form, it takes a good chunk of his energy and his very own life force, because if he does that, it just kind of, in a way, takes a huge strain on him, and it's really not good for his health. The last time he did this, it almost killed him. Which is why he only prefers to use it in his dragon form. So, yeah, well, in a way, if you want him to see what happens in the future, you'll have to give him a moment to transform into his dragon form. And that's another problem. When he turns into his dragon form, he kind of goes into a sort of needing nutrition kind of state. Now, what this means is, basically, when he takes a lot of strength and energy just to turn into a dragon. And as a result, he needs to eat a lot of food. Specifically, he needs to eat raw meat. Like other food, it's fine, but he just needs raw meat because it gives more nutrition, more strength, and more power to him if he eats raw food. He doesn't mind cooked food, but he really needs a lot of raw meat. So basically, within a way, if you want him to turn into his dragon form, you're gonna have to get him a giant carcass, or at least a huge boat full of raw meat, or like a whole garage full of raw meat. Dead or alive, it doesn't really matter as long as it's there and it's raw meat. He can consume it like it's nothing. But in a way, that's more like a little Venom reference, where Venom means food, where Venom means human brains to survive. Sky is not like that. He just needs raw meat, because he can't get a whole lot of nutrition or strength or anything else like that. Like, again, he can consume other food and cooked food too. It's fine. But, like, you know what I'm trying to say. Raw meat, it holds more nutrition, it holds more strength, it holds more protein. It basically kind of gives him more strength and power. Basically. You get the whole point. And, hold on, did I got a chance to talk about his fire breath? No, I don't think I did. For his fire breath, it's basically not fire. It's actually very hot plasma. Basically, it's kind of similar to Gamera's fire breath, where it's not really fire, it's actually plasma. Basically, his fire breath is basically hotter than that of the sun. And he can destroy a mountain with just one blast of his fire breath. Or even just one fireball at that. And he even has a very venomous bite. This kind of carries out both in his faunus form and in his dragon form. Now, what this does, it kind of, in a way, slows down your aura healing. So, but in a way, if he fights someone like Cinder, Mercury, Emerald, Neo, any of those villains, if he fights any one of them, he will slow down their aura healing. For his last couple known abilities, he has the ability to, within a way, manipulate someone. Basically, he kind of hypnotizes them. And when that happens, there is kind of, within a way, no stopping him. Because he can manipulate a lot of people to do his own bidding when he hypnotizes them. And if you're wondering, is there a way to break it? Absolutely not. There's no way to break it. So once when he freaking hypnotizes you, there's no escape. And for his final known ability, he kind of has this sort of a riot ability, where he kind of has a buttload of weapons that he can just craft with his hands. So, yeah, but in a way, he's more like a dragon version of Riot, but just more unstoppable and more dangerous. Now, let's begin his origin story. For his backstory, Scott is actually, well, he used to be a part of a royal family. He had a mother and nearly 25 siblings. He was actually the youngest. However, there was a small problem. His family flat out abused him to the point where he had to run away. He was basically abused for almost his entire life. He was abused even on his birthdays and even on the holidays. He was just flat out abused and just kind of within a way started to hate the holidays because it just reminded him about, well, all the crap he had to go through. And he even despised his own birthdays, too. He just flat out hated his birthdays. He hated the holidays. The only thing he liked about his birthdays was that it ended. And the same thing went with the holidays. Once when the holidays ended, he was like, finally, they're gone. Now, if you're wondering, how did he run away? Well, it kind of happened after his 8th birthday. Realizing that he really can't stay with his family any longer, he decided to leave. He decided to go out on his own and try to find a new, better life for himself. And he quite literally had to change his own name and identity. Because his parents were sending out search parties everywhere, and he really felt like he could not find anywhere to stay until he met a certain someone. And that certain someone just so happened to be the very reason why he became a dragon. Now, his grandfather was a dragon faunus, and the same thing went with his father. So that's how he is a dragon faunus. It wasn't because of Austin. No, he was just born like that. Anyways, the certain someone that he met was the same person who turned him into a dragon in the first place. That being Austin. Austin found him and decided to take him in. He was aware about what his family was doing to him, and he was originally going to put a stop to it. But once when he saw Scott, he decided to take the poor boy in and raise him as one of his own. And for years, Scott's life has been slowly getting better, and he slowly just started to like his birthdays and holidays, and so within a way, he finally found a big relief. He finally found a big, huge step in his life. And he even wanted to become a huntsman. And Ozpin was willing to train him and teach him everything he needed to know. Because unlike the other students, he wasn't allowed to go, well, he was allowed, but he had to, it was only for brief, short visits when Ozpin went to visit Beacon Academy. Mainly is because of the fact that Austin didn't trust the other students with him, mainly because when Scott turned around 14 years old, that was when he unlocked his semblance. And that was when Austin realized that if he decided to put Scott with the other students, most likely things will not turn out so well. Rather, Scott is going to go crazy and lose his temper and accidentally hurt or kill someone, or he might actually end up hurting everyone. So that's why Austin took it to himself to train his adopted son. But one day, Scott unfortunately caught a very serious disease. A disease that not even the doctors could cure him of. Because not even the doctors could cure him. And so, near at death's door, he was about to die until Austin gave him the ability to turn into a dragon. Since he gave Crow and Raven the ability to turn into birds, he gave Scott the ability to turn into a dragon. And once when that happened, Scott was immediately saved, because with that dragon power in his body, within a way he was basically immune to any known disease or illnesses.